Hello, I'm Lisa Lord with News Night, and we have loads to unpack. Tonight, another feature being added to the Grantley Adams International Airport as the upgrade of the facility continues. Barbadians are seeking out gun licenses in the face of increasing crime. The Productivity Council is closing, leaving more than a dozen jobless. The fish market over at Oystons to undergo a major transformation. And in sports, rain dictated the proceedings today over in Grenada, forcing a washout of the third one-day game, the Windies versus England.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC News Night, starting now.
And in our top stories tonight, continued developments at the Grantley Adams International Airport as efforts move apace to turn it into a truly world-class facility. The Minister of Tourism has just launched the newest upgrade, and our Shane Jones witnessed the proceedings and joins us live now from at the airport. Good evening, Shane.
Hi, good evening, Lisa. Well, what I can tell you is that the upgrade to the airport, they are 3 brand new gates. Gates 13 through 14 at the Grantley Adams International Airport. And they are especially designed to reduce the congestion, as well as they are for the air-to-sea and the sea-to-air passengers. The cost is about $1.2 million. And if you're wondering where that money is coming from, I want you to cast your memory back to November 2018, to be specific. Our reporter Rianne Phillips, she was the one that covered that story when it was revealed that the CDB, they approved a loan for the rehabilitation and expansion of the Grantley Adams International Airport to the tune of just over $40 million US. And now at the time it said that it was going to, the entire process would take about 26 months, and the Grantley Adams International Airport itself, they were pledging just about $17.3 million. That would be their contribution. Now let's go back to these new gates, gates 14 through 16 at the Grantley Adams International Airport. It's not just going to be that there were the gates that were just opened and then that's it. Minister of Tourism, the Honorable Carrie Simmons, he was on hand and he cut the ribbon. He is adamant that the Grantley Adams International Airport will be a hub of commerce. Now he's saying that there are plans afoot. They're going through, management is going through some proposals to have some food and beverage concessions and some craft set up and those new gates, because he believes that when you come to the Grantley Adams International Airport, you must be able to see, taste, feel, smell Barbadian culture. From the moment you get in the airport, you must know that you are in Barbados. So he also says that the average Barbadian entrepreneur must feel like they can make money at the Grantley Adams International Airport. He says it's gone on for far too long that the average Barbadian was shut out and shut off from making money here at the Grantley Adams International Airport, Lisa. So that's a big story here tonight. 3 new gates at the Grantley Adams International Airport. Now, in another story, Tourism Minister Carrie Simmons also speaking, he said that government was moving forward with divestment plans for the Grantley Adams International Airport. He says that private sector people, they were being sought out to help with the expansion of the airport. Take a listen.
I believe that within the next 6 months, we should have been able to have completed, for example, a new master plan for the airport, and we should be on the road thereafter to identifying, by way of the international bid process, the new operator of the airport. That process, ideally, ladies and gentlemen, may take us between 12 to 14 months, depending on how nimble we are. Time is of the essence as far as the government is concerned, because we want to make sure that the airport is in maximum capacity to have maximum operational efficiency as soon as possible. And therefore, it means that we have to get on with this process and get the divestment up and running and fully operational.
And Shane, we understand, we want to know what the feedback has been like thus far.
Okay, in fact, Tourism Minister Kerry Simmons, he shared a story that a visitor to Barbados, someone who's been traveling to Barbados, they sent a message saying that they had their best ever experience at the Barbados Grand Islands International Airport, and they had been traveling to Barbados, to and from Barbados for the last 25 years, and in this year they had their best experience. So I guess the upgrades, people are noticing them, people are seeing them, and they are taking full effect. That's it from the Grand Islands International Airport, Lisa. 3 brand new gates here at the GAIA. Back to you, Lisa.
Looking good, Shane. Thank you so very much. Well, the current crime situation is forcing Barbadians to think about their personal safety, and they are making approaches to see if they can acquire licenses to bear arms. And this was revealed by Attorney General Dale Marshall at a Barbados Labour Party St. Joseph branch meeting. Our Kishmar St. Just has the details.
It appears more Barbadians believe they need a licensed firearm to protect themselves in the face of ongoing violence against people involving guns. However, Attorney General Dale Marshall remains confident in the abilities of the Royal Barbados Police Force to fight this type of crime.
I know that the police force, given the opportunity and given the equipment and the resources, and we are giving them those things, will get to the bottom of this. It doesn't happen overnight, though. It took years to reach this point.
According to the Attorney General, Barbados has moved from dealing with an upsurge in burglaries to drugs and guns. He says authorities must prevent these illegal weapons from entering the island and take those already here off the streets. He is reminding citizens that they have a part to play to achieve this.
All of us have a vested interest in helping to root this out. Now, that may cause some of us to clash with a neighbor, because you may know something and you may be wondering if you should tell the police. I rather you tell the police now than wait until somebody in the community gets injured, maybe yourself, and run and play you going and tell the police then. We all have an obligation to each other as citizens of Barbados.
Mr. Marshall has criticized a video circulating on social media, allegedly showing a youngster posing with high-powered weapons. This trend is one that troubles law enforcement officials here in Barbados.
Guns of that size and in those numbers are not coming into Barbados in a little postal packet. They're coming in huge shipments. Huge shipments. There are some things that in our National Security Council, when they get a briefing, I usually leave with a headache. But suffice it to say that the reports that we are getting are not comforting.
The AG also says he wants an end to murder accused being freed while they await their cases to be heard in the courts. Kishmar St. Just, CBC News Night.
And thank you so much, Kishmar. Well, a minister has come out in defense of the government in the face of criticism that the Mia Amor Motley-led administration has no clear growth strategy for the island. Minister in the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Investment, Marcia Cattle, says the Barbados Labour Party has made it clear that growth is needed for the country to recover from what she labelled the lost decade.
A real growth strategy is not words. A real growth strategy is a plan that connects. It is not just saying that we should export more or urging us to be more productive, but it focuses on how. It focuses on taking the right steps in the right order. And of all of the things that are very nice to do, what is it that we have to do now?
Minister Cattle says that government's growth strategy includes 7 steps, some of which have been implemented already.
We're doing a couple now, and that we have more that we are planning to do shortly. But the order is important. We cannot go for growth when there's no foreign currency in the central bank. So we had to build that first. We had to put the dollar in a safe place first. And so last year was necessarily about building up the reserves, which in 9 months have more than doubled and are now almost 3 times what they were then.
Well, more than a dozen employees will be jobless when government closes one of its entities at the end of next month. The decision to close the Productivity Council was based on the results of an electronic survey, which formed part of Phase 2 of government's economic restructuring program. Our Sharika Griffith reports.
After more than 25 years, the Productivity Council, located here at Baobab Towers in Warrens, will be closing its doors soon. But Labour Minister Colin Jordan has given the assurance that it will in no way diminish government's focus on improving productivity in Barbados.
We've asked questions, and the Barbadians and there were quite a few thousands of Barbadians who responded to that online survey, and they indicated to us that while we needed to focus on productivity, it could be better done more effectively or more efficiently done in a different format. The focus on productivity continues. That focus will now be a part of the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Investment.
But Executive Director of the Council, John Pilgrim, believes the move will not augur well for growth in Barbados.
It is true we talk about fiscal measures to cut costs, and that's important. But at the same time, we must have in place a growth model, a growth perspective that has productivity as one essential theme going forward.
According to Mr. Pilgrim, approximately 15 people will be affected by the closure of the department at the end of March. Minister Jordan says they, like all workers who have been retrenched, could be rehired under government's modernization program. He says there will also be opportunities for training, which could lead to re-engagement in new areas. Sharika Griffith, Cbc News.
Meantime, the Ministry of Labour is seeking to get a better understanding of the everyday realities facing workers in Barbados. Over the next 6 months, Labour Minister Colin Jordan and several ministry officials will be touring businesses across the island. Today, Minister Jordan toured several businesses in the Harbour Road area, including Oran Limited. He says this first-hand look will allow him to make more informed decisions and statements.
We thought that at the policy and at the leadership level, we actually needed to come out of the office and to come into workplaces where workers actually operate, and see for ourselves the conditions that they would be experiencing, and maybe have a greater capacity to speak to certain issues when issues come to the fore. And it could also give us the ability to speak to issues that may not yet have come to the fore, but that we would have seen as we toured various workplaces.
And we say hello now to our Lisa Broom in our social media corner to tell us what is trending. Good evening, Lisa.
Hi, good evening. Thank you and welcome to this new segment. We're calling it, like you said, What's Trending, and we're going to take a look at what's popular or what's being widely discussed on social media here in Barbados or across the globe for that matter. So tonight we start with some reaction to the news that motorists who are involved in accidents where street lights are damaged may have to pay to replace them. Now, that announcement was made recently by Minister in the Ministry of Finance, Ryan Strachan, who says the burden should not be on the taxpayer. And of course, there is reaction on social media. It is mixed, though, in our Facebook community. Lenora Cumberbatch and Judy Kinch think it's a good idea. Gerald Matthews, on the other hand, well, he suggests that the motor vehicle insurance should cover the cost. And Violet Lenham goes a step further. She's asking, what will be the punishment if the motorist has no insurance? Well, I'm just going to leave that one to the experts to answer. Perhaps they can tell us. Now, I know that sometimes it may seem as though only negative stories about the youth are highlighted. We hear it all the time. But of course, we know and we put it out there that there are many good and positive young people who are doing great things. So take this young man, for instance, who in his own rhythmic way is encouraging his peers to get an education.
School, learn to be down, see. The school, learn to be down, see. For the morning, wake up with a plan. They have to brush to space your hand. For the bathroom and brush your teeth. So this is more than dirty. My daddy earbud, mommy earbud. To put breakfast on the table. My baby low like a cable. They teach me all of my table. That's for school charger like me. This one for school charger like me. The school, learn to be down, see. The school, learn to be down, see. see. This for school charger like me. This one for school charger like me. The school learn, do we don't see. The school learn, do we don't see.
So you can learn at school?
Yes, please.
All right, so you heard him, a catchy tune and some really good lyrics. Try and go to school and learn. Now, many of you would remember Grenadian artist Mr. Killer, whose song Roly Poly was a major hit back in the day. Now, he's back with another one, which is encouraging people to pick up something and run with it. Partygoers have been responding by doing just that. They've been picking up a variety of things, including a fridge, a 100-pound gas cylinder, a dog, security barriers, even other fete goers, and we're also hearing a pot of corn soup. It's actually prompting authorities in Trinidad and Tobago to issue this warning. Take a look.
And finally, we wanted to address a situation that has been engaging the TTPS in recent times. We have a lot of party goers and vendors making several reports to members of the police officers who are on duty at various all-inclusive parties on various events, where they're indicating that their rights are being violated as it relates to a particular song that is playing. The song, has the lyrics in it, pick up something. And based on that, when that song is being played, we understand that persons go into what you call a frenzy. So what we're asking party goers, in your enthusiasm, the song is a nice song and persons are very charged about that song is playing. We are asking persons to please be mindful and do not violate the rights of others. We had reports such as there was a vendor, corn soup vendor, and they pick up his corn soup apparatus and they left with it, and it was not returned. Now, if that was not returned, that means that that person's property was taken away permanently, which is one of the ingredients for larceny.
Wow, some serious things there. And of course, you know that social media always wins. There is a permission form making the rounds on social media. And you know that Barbadians, we don't like to be left out. So the trend has reached over here as well. Let's take a look at this clip. Well, that's all the time that we have tonight for Watch Trending. So we're going to encourage you to visit our Instagram page. We're at CBC News Barbados, and our Facebook page as well at cbcnews.bb. We want you to share your comments and views, but remember, please, they are public forums, so keep your comments clean. And don't forget, if you have a fun or interesting picture or video to share, send it to us via WhatsApp. The numbers are 233-7388 or 233-7555. There's also email. Send it to nca@cbc.bb with pick of the day as the title of your email for a chance to be featured on our social media. So I'll see you tomorrow for another look at What's Trending.
The Warinda Cox Fish Market and the entire Oistins area is set to undergo a major transformation. The Minister of the Environment and the Blue Economy joined MP for the area Ralph Thorne and high-ranking officials from the National Conservation Commission yesterday during a cleaning of the market, where they revealed plans for a complete makeover of that area. Here's Shane Jones.
It wasn't an easy Sunday morning for these fish vendors in Oistins as they sacrificed some sales to shut down, pick down, and hose down the market. From very early, they could be seen using heavy-duty equipment from the NCC to scrub floors and power wash their stalls. Both women and men came out for the cause, and it wasn't just the main market area. The boatyard got some much-needed attention as well. Member of Parliament for the area, Ralph Thorne, says the future of Oistins depends on the well-being of its fisherfolk, and he pointed out that it was a collaborative effort between the private vendors and public workers.
The cleaning that is going on in the market this morning, the fish market this morning, is a collaborative effort between the workers of the Ministry of Fisheries and the vendors who ply their trade in that market. So I am very pleased about that collaboration that's happening. Since we're here in the boatyard, I can tell you as well that this boatyard, the work on this boatyard, the cleaning of this boatyard finished just a few days ago. Again, it was a collaborative effort between the boat owners and the officials from the Ministry of Fisheries.
Minister of Maritime Affairs and the Blue Economy, Kirk Humphrey, says his ministry has been able to do some work on the market, but there is much more to be done.
We want to be able to change the countertops from what currently exists to a stainless steel countertop. If you were to visit the area now, you would see deep holes within the tiles on the top. There's space where the grout should be that is clearly no longer there. It's a haven for anything negative to happen, and we intend to rectify that. We also want to be in a position to say that we've rectified the issues pertaining to the cupboards, the doors falling off, the rusted hinges, the cracks in the walkway. We want to improve the toilet facilities and so on.
The Oistins Bay Garden comes alive with its restaurants and bars at night and is a main tourist attraction. Minister of the Environment and National Beautification, Trevor Prescott, disclosed that a three-phase plan is in place for the total transformation of Oistins.
This is going to be the mirror of what beauty is supposed to be under the Ministry of the Environment and also under the NCC. We obviously, we looked around, we see the aesthetics of the area. We also understand the importance of structural changes that are required. We know that there are a number of challenges in the areas with the drainage problems. We're going to address all of these even in the first phase of the program.
Chairperson of the Oistins Fisherfolk, Linda Harris, says the cleanup was a long time in coming.
The market was very indeed of a great cleanup today. So I am very thankful for the workers here this morning at the Barinda Courts Fish Market and assisting in the cleanup.
This is a very good start here, and there's more to discuss, not only the cleanup of Oistins, right, but to help build and beautify Oistins.
The three-phase project for Oistins is expected to begin in the coming weeks. Shane Jones, CBC News.
Thanks so much, Shane. Well, CARICOM leaders are expected to tackle the issue of transportation across the region when the 30th Intersessional Meeting in St. Kitts and Nevis gets underway tomorrow. Prime Minister Mia Amor-Motley is leading a Barbadian delegation to that summit. Barbados Ambassador to CARICOM David Comachong says that the heads of government are also expected to examine recommendations from a special meeting of the CARICOM Council for Trade and Economic Development, or QUATED, on transportation.
It's a very important agenda, I would say, because primary to the agenda is the issue of transportation, both maritime and air transportation.
Interregional transportation.
Yes, so the issue of this long anticipated ferry service will be discussed by the heads, and hopefully coming out of this, you know, there will be a concrete project that will manifest the ferry service. Also, Barbadians will be intrigued to hear that they will be talking about possibly reducing some of those taxes on air passages across the region.